I know that one of the things that you've been working on, and a lot of people in Congress have been working on, as well as the administration, is the idea of police reform. President Biden has now set a deadline to get the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act passed. He wants it passed in less than a month. He wants it passed by May 25th, which would be the one-year anniversary of George Floyd's death. I think a lot of people from the outside think of that legislatively as a heavy lift. It feels like there's a long way to go before the Congress is going to be close to passing it. I know that you today at the White House met with George Floyd's brother, the family's attorney, Ben Crump, other family members of victims of police violence. Can you tell us a little bit about that today and whether you think that goal is doable?
I absolutely think it's doable. It's absolutely urgent that we get real policing reform, meaningful policing reform, legislation like that in George Floyd's name through the House, as it has been, and now through the Senate. Every day, Rachel, you turn on your television and somebody else is being shot and killed on our streets, often by police. And this cannot continue. It cannot continue. So it's not only a year on May 25th from the date when George Floyd was murdered, but it is past time that there be accountability in our system, that we repair the trust between law enforcement and the people that it is meant to serve. And the legislation that is now pending before the Senate would make very important steps in that direction. I met today with George Floyd's brother, Philonise, and I met with the mother of Eric Garner and the sister of others who have been killed in this horrific series of crimes. And it is heartbreaking to hear their stories. They are living with this pain, this trauma every single day. They described how they don't sleep at night because they can't sleep, because they're fearful, because they're anxious, because their loss is so immense. We owe it to them and so many others to get this legislation passed and to make it powerful and meaningful.
I understand the impetus to get it passed and the passion behind it. I think on that and on the voting rights bill, though, I don't understand the legislative gymnastics that need to be done in order to line up the votes. Obviously, there's the issue of whether or not the filibuster exists and whether or not things can be passed through budget reconciliation, right, with just 50 Democratic votes, even if no Republicans side with it. But on those two issues, I'm not sure that there's 50 Democrats. And so is part of the work of domestic policy and is part of the work of trying to have an executive branch pushing for these things to make it possible in the Senate to move senators off the mark, to get them to persuade them to that work. Because it's hard to see behind the scenes from the outside when we keep seeing more conservative Democrats say that they're not going along with these things, even despite unified Republican opposition.
Well, let's talk about the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, because there, I think, there is at least a fighting chance for a bipartisan outcome, one that could garner 60 votes in the Senate. There are serious negotiations that are underway between Senator Booker, Senator Tim Scott, Congresswoman Karen Bass, and today the same families that I met with Senator Scott and Senator Lindsey Graham. So there is at least a credible dialogue underway. And I think a recognition that there is urgency to this issue and a need for healing. And, I've been in this city a long time, and I can tell you that I have, got my own set of battle scars, as you well know, and some degree of skepticism. But I actually think that this is one of the many issues where we must do better together and where we can achieve a bipartisan outcome, potentially. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm also not pessimistic. I think there's a chance.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.